Hi everyone, my name is Latoya Simmons. I will be talking about the group I led. For my group leading report, I led a group about anger management here in Georgia at my church. We met on Tuesdays, 5:30 to 9:30. The reason for the group was psychotherapy. There were 7 participants due to COVID, and the 7 included myself and 6 others. We primarily focused on the anger warning signs and the good and bad effects of anger. At first, everyone in the group was quiet. They downplayed their story. They didn't want to talk about their story. But at the end, everyone warmed up to each other. First, I talked about HIPAA and the Privacy Act. And I talked about the good and the bad effects of anger. When used properly, anger can release tension, it can help communication, it can resolve conflict, and provide new thoughts, alert one of threats. When anger is used improperly, you can't control your thoughts, you ruin relationship, it causes pain, it causes health problems, causes emotional problems, and it leaves a negative impact. So, in group, we talked about the good and bad effects of anger. Some of the members shared their story of how they become angry and what trouble they get into afterwards. I self I self disclosed my childhood cycle of anger management and how I lash out at people. I use CBT in my technique so because I wanted to focus on the maladaptive thoughts. And if we could fix our thoughts when we notice the signs when we become angry, we can change the cycle of anger. So we talked about what is the first sign I notice when I become angry. Some anger warning signs. Does your mind go blank? Do you insult people? Does your face turn red? Does your body and your hands shake? Do you start sweating? Do you throw things? Do you breathe heavily? Do you clench your fists? Do you feel hot? Do you punch the walls? Do you start crying? We talked about all the anger warning signs. I also identified some additional resources if they needed additional help in the time that they feel lonely. Now that they know how to identify their anger, they can know what they can do to help themselves. Self assessment. When reflecting about myself in the group, I believe I self disclosed a little bit too much about my personal experience, but I wanted to show the group because when we first started the group, no one wanted to talk. Nobody wanted to share their stories. Nobody wanted to disclose what were their anger warning signs. So I wanted to open up and share my story, but I feel like I shared a little bit too much. I wanted to show the group and the group members the cycle of anger that I had to deal with. I noticed that I lash out at people. Not really good at people telling me what I'm doing wrong. I immediately put up defense mechanisms or I get angry. The many challenges I encountered with my own thoughts, what I felt about the members and what they would think about me. I think I could have handled the linking better. As soon as I heard that someone said they breathe heavily and the other one said they breathe heavily, I immediately wanted them to link. Well, I felt like I should have maybe waited until I heard the whole story of why they breathe heavily. Maybe they stopped at the red light and someone cut them off and they started breathing heavily, and then the other one, she was in the grocery store and someone just cut her off, and I started to link that, and then they felt like those were not the same. I could have did better at that. I also feel like I self disclosed about personal information, and most of the members thought that maybe that was maybe too much that you shared. But when do you know when it's too much, and when do you know when it's too little? I feel like when I did self disclose, it opened up a new atmosphere in the group. A lot of people opened up and they were able to say the anger warning signs that they were dealing with. Like one lady said, she just keeps quiet and she shuts down when she gets angry. And she was very quiet in the group and she didn't want to talk. So maybe when I shared my story, she felt like, well, okay, well, let me share a little bit about me because now I understand that the facilitator is not here to judge us. The facilitator actually has some anger problems, and has dealt with her anger, and then she's here to help us or assist us with our anger. And now that we know how to deal or identify with our anger, or know the difference between the good and the bad anger, they were able to let me know how they felt and how they can do better when they realize that they're getting angry to that level. They can reach their normal baseline and can come back to the woosah. So, in conclusion, what I hope the group members took away from my group is the good and bad types of anger and how to use the different types correctly. I hope now the group members can identify their warning signs and when it comes to becoming angry and what they can do to calm themselves down to their baseline. I will apply what I learned about the after action review to my future groups on bringing more activities to the group. I feel I need to interchange the communication skills. I get nervous and I start stumbling over my words, especially when I'm in a group or around a lot of people. I don't know why I do that, but I do need to work on that. So I hope you enjoyed my presentation, and thank you for watching. You have a blessed day.